I'm a little late to this, and I actually planned on doing this video probably a couple months ago, but I was delaying it anyways. My ranking of every single 2025 comic book movie that I watched ranked from the worst to the best. And the reason that this ranking took me, was delayed as long as it was, considering I haven't seen a new comic book movie since, I don't know, August, whenever Captain America went on streaming. But I was just in case there was some other obscure comic book movies that I didn't know about, but that really didn't end up happening. Like the Chainsaw Man movie, which is a comic book, probably won't get added till January on Hulu, so I won't be able to watch it. And if it does somehow get added before, and I see it before the end of 2025, well, I guess I'll have to delete this video or just come back and edit it. But anyways, coming in last place, we have Captain America: Brave New World. And I remember when I watched this movie just a few months ago, and I remember specifically thinking, this movie is not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it still wasn't that good. It was so obviously, the movie itself just doesn't work because it's built up on you want to not know. It's built up to have this reveal where you need to know, what is, I can barely even remember the main villain, the guy from the Incredible Hulk guy. And it's built on what's his master plan, but we all know what it is because it's in all the trailers, on all the posters, and that he wants to turn the president into a Hulk and just cause chaos. It just doesn't work. And Sam, he's a good character, but he's not good enough he's not a good enough character, I think, to carry his own movie, and I think that this movie shows it. Harrison Ford's great as always, though. And coming in third place, we have Thunderbolts, and this is a movie where, like I said, I liked it, but I do think that some people have been overhyping this movie so much. Don't get me wrong. I think that it is pretty good. I liked it. I would give it a thumbs up or thumbs down world. I'd give it a thumbs up, probably a 6 or 7 out of 10. And please don't make that joke in the comments. But I still think that this movie also just has a lot of problems with it. I think, first of all, there's really no stakes, as if they act like there's supposed to be stakes, but there's not, because we know that they were never going to kill off any of the main characters except obviously Taskmaster, because you can tell that just from the marketing alone. And second, I think this movie also exemplifies a lot of the problems with the MCU of just using the humor to undercut serious moments. And it's like they did all these trailers to make it seem like this was something new. Look at how these creative directors behind it. But we know they don't. They're kind of just filtered through the Marvel machine. They don't actually really get that much of a say. But that being said, I still had fun with this movie. I like a lot of these characters. I like Yelena. I like Bucky. But then you have characters like Red Guardians, he's okay. And I love John Walker, too. He's great. And Bob was great, too. Sentry was awesome. And I think that the dream-like sequences were really cool as well. I just thought that this movie was overhyped just a little bit, but it's still good. I still liked it, but I just had some problems with it. And coming in second place, we have Superman. And this is another movie where I really liked it. And I literally just rewatched it today. And I will say in many ways, it kind of felt the same when I first watched it in theaters and had some of my problems with it, where I think that the pacing was a little too fast, and maybe sometimes the comedy kind of overshadowed some things and didn't really work all the way. But that being said, I still think this guy, dude, David Cornsweet, is Superman. He is so good in this movie, and I'm so excited to see more of him. And I think that it is such a great stepping off point for the DCU. My only problem with it, like I said, is I think that it just feels a little too fast, which obviously I think it could work where if you just want a movie to have fun, and this movie is fun, you're going to get that. It jumps right into the action. And don't get me wrong, there are the emotional points that you need, and they are absolutely great. I just think that sometimes that within this movie, I just wasn't as invested in the plot, in characters, as the number one spot. That being said, I still think that this is a very good movie. I've still very much enjoyed it. This is probably going to be on my top 10 favorite movies of the year. Don't worry. But I just had some problems with it that even when I rewatched it today, I still had some, those problems didn't really leave. But that being said, I still really, really liked the movie. I really loved David as Superman. I love Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. He's great. And it's just, I'm so excited to see more. Just some of the pacing problems and some of the plot problems just hold it back from being the number one. And coming in at number one, we have the Fantastic Four First Steps. And this is another movie, who knows, maybe it'll go down when I rewatch it, or maybe it'll stay the same. But one thing I just loved so much about this movie is, one, the unique aesthetic, but really just the tone for once for a Marvel movie. It just felt right. There was comedy in this movie, but it came from the characters rather than the writers, if that makes. And what I mean by that is, like, obviously, if you're watching this video, you probably already are into comic books, you watch these movies, and you know what I'm talking about when I say the MCU humor, where it undercuts a lot of the emotional moments. But here, the humor comes from the characters, where it feels just natural. It doesn't feel like a writer wrote it in because, oh, we have to break some tension here, or else the audience will get bored. No. To me, I feel like it worked here because it came from the characters. And when there is a serious moment, like when Reed Richards is talking to people and they're asking if the Earth is safe, and he says, I don't know, it's played seriously, which is just such a relief. And I thought, in many ways, the cast really won me over, especially Joseph Quinn. I mean, I went in not really liking his casting. To be fair, I'd never really seen him in anything. I just didn't think he gave off that Johnny Storm vibe, but he absolutely proved me wrong. And same with, okay. And as for Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, I thought he was also really good, but I will say it is kind of another one of those, like, things where Reed Richards, he's kind of just Pedro Pascal. And I will say, like, don't get me wrong, I think that he was good, and I would actually argue that this movie, he actually feels not like he's just playing Pedro Pascal, and he actually is playing Reed Richards, and he was great. But it's really just, it almost just kind of takes you out a little bit. But that being said, and also Vanessa Kirby is great, Emma Moss Baccarat is great, and just that aesthetic, man. I love the 60s aesthetic and the plan for Galactus, and it feels like this is just a world that you want to explore, and it just allows for there to be so much depth in it. And like I said, who knows, maybe when I rewatch it, I won't like it as much, and then Superman will go number one. But as of now, when I just think of the amount of aesthetic there is, the amount of great character work, the plot, this is, as of now, is my number one. But who knows? Maybe I'll change my mind upon rewatch, but as of now, I think I just enjoyed the story the most of any comic book movie this year. So yeah, this comes in as the best comic book movie of the year, in my opinion, of 2025. Leave your comment, leave your ranking of every single comic book movie of 2025 that you watched, ranked from the worst to the best. Leave a like if you enjoyed this ranking, and subscribe for more rankings and reviews like this.